Norm Chan,
Hey, well,
I need a website.
we have a website. It's called tested.com.
No. I need a personal website to share pictures of my daughter and maybe sell T-shirts.
All right. Well, I can't help you there, but there's a company that can. It's Squarespace, and they are the sponsor for this week's podcast.
I have a copy of Notepad. I assume that's all I need to get a website going, right?
Yeah, it's coding in HTML.
Yeah.
None of that anymore.
Oh, really?
It's all template-based, real-time editing, responsive design, and if you need any help, as someone like me probably would, they have 24-hour support as well.
So it's a Squarespace. This must cost a ton of money.
I think it's $8 a month, which I don't think is that much at all.
That doesn't seem like a ton of money. I was expecting thousands and thousands of dollars. We have a whole team of engineers down in LA that makes our site work.
You don't have no dedicated engineer pay required. Just squarespace.com, and you can also use a promo code Untitled, I believe, for a discount, and try it out. They are supporting this week's podcast.
Well, thank you, Squarespace.
Thank you.
Welcome to Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. I'm Will.
I am Adam.
And I'm Norm. We talked last time. We ended last time. I said that I watched a bunch of movies.
What did you watch? A bunch
So
of?
I have some recommendations before we talk about a movie that I think.
Is this a spoiler cast?
Should we make it a spoiler
I think
cast?
this should be a spoiler cast.
Spoiler cast.
Okay, so but we will give you a clear if you have not watched the movie in question, which is
Birdman.
then we will give you a clear delineation in several minutes, at which point the spoilers will start. So we won't give the people who haven't seen the movie and don't want to spoil it we won't bone you completely.
That chick in the crying game is a man.
Oh, my hand. Oh, I'm your dad.
299 of them die.
Yes.
300.
Yeah. Batman's parents get killed. Makes him really fucked up.
Did we tell? Have I ever told Sarah Silverman's joke about 300? How they came up with the title? Sarah Silverman's joke is that the title 300 is based on a scale of 1 to 10 how gay the movie is. Maybe we have to cut that joke out.
It's a Sarah Silverman joke.
It is a Sarah.
Yeah, but
That's
even
the context of her joke.
Even in the context of that. Yeah.
Welcome to Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm.
Hey, guys.
Last time we left,
Yes.
Norm teased that he had watched a bunch of movies, so we talk about it next time.
Yeah. So today we're doing a spoiler cast.
Spoiler cast.
But when we get to the movie in question,
we will give you a clear delineation when the spoilers start. We're going to talk about Birdman, which I haven't seen.
I have.
You guys have both seen. You told me, like Boyhood, it's a movie that spoilers don't matter because the act of watching the movie is satisfying in and of itself.
I will agree that that is an event movie in the same way that Boyhood, but also Gravity would be, right? Like you can tell somebody the whole plot of Gravity doesn't matter.
She dies at the end. It's cool.
It's on her head. No.
This is oxygen deprivation is the entire second and third act.
Right.
Yes. But before we talk about Birdman, two recommendations. One is on Amazon Prime streaming. It's a pilot. They do pilot season every year.
Okay.
So Amazon commissions a bunch of pilots, which TV networks typically do. Also, but many you don't ever see because they greenlight the ones and they have so many to put on their schedule. Amazon commissions pilots and then puts them all online. They call it pilot season. And
that's so far out.
It's great.
It's a real lack of fear, though, too, because like there's typically, I mean, with any kind of creative endeavor that involves that many people coming together to work in a specific way, you have there you go.
This is from last week's podcast.
That's the
picture of me with the fuzz.
Did you ask to take a selfie with the cop?
I did not.
That would be a bad
Probably,
idea.
Here's
probably.
the two cop cars right behind me.
There you go. It's good that they sent two cops.
Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, it's a lack of fear, which I think is really cool, but also it would be terrifying if I was making a pilot for Amazon.
And they can then they can pick up the shows that people actually watch the pilot of it and watch all of and enjoy.
But they understand what
all
the
this
metrics
data.
of how they watched it. Like if they stopped 20 minutes in, if they paused,
Exactly. If they watched it more than one time, when that's
if they rewinded to see certain bits,
right?
Yeah.
Right. And then they're also connected to Amazon, IMDb, because they own IMDb, so they can like see if people are looking up actors and like there's so much
Really?
data. Yeah.
that I didn't know.
So there's a show pilot called Man in the High Castle, and it's an adaptation of a Philip K. Dick book.
Okay.
And it's a alternate universe, 1960s, late 60s. What if the Axis won World War II, and the U.S. is divided into Nazi-occupied East Coast and Midwest and Japanese owned and occupied West Coast and what the lives are in that United States.
That seems grim.
Wow.
No, that's the
That's the twist, I guess.
It's dystopian in one side, and on the other side, maybe not so much.
Oh.
And how do people's lives adapt to that?
And it's just the pilot so far?
It's just the pilot.
And you thought it was terrific.
I thought it was terrific. I thought the premise was really interesting.
Wow.
So that was great. And then it's a movie that was actually at South by Southwest, and I wanted to see it there, didn't see it. It is on iTunes now, called The Infinite Man. And
I haven't heard of this.
one of I think my favorite time travel movie.
What?
now.
A time travel film.
That's done without any any loopholes or plot holes.
What?
No cheats? No Looper-style cheats?
No Looper style. And it is in the 12 Monkeys vein.
Ooh, I like
where
12 Monkeys a lot.
The beginning and the end loop. And
I like La Jetée a lot.
I never saw La Jetée.
La Jetée. Oh, sorry.
Is it the-
Pause, tangent, right here. 12 Monkeys is based on a famous French movie called La Jetée, which is only about 25 minutes long.
Ooh.
It's told entirely through voiceover and stills, and is, I will stand by, one of the 30 greatest science fiction movies ever made. And it's,
Wow.
I mean, really, and there's no plot, no props more complicated than like a paper bag with some wires. And yet, La Jetée is completely compelling. Go watch it like now. It's
I'm in.
terrific.
another recommendation.
Yeah. and that's what 12 Monkeys is based on. And
Yes.
it is a time travel film.
Yes.
I watched Lucy on the plane.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
It was...
I'm so sorry.
There was a moment that I recognized as I was watching that film at the end that if they had just stopped it right then, it would have just been bad instead of terrible.
Oh,
It's gorgeous.
it is gorgeous. And I love Scarlett. She's great. But it didn't make. Here's the problem.
This
where
might
it
be a
lost
double
me.
spoiler cast.
So I don't mind the idea of someone becoming crazy intelligent and being able to see.
Limitless
through the
was
fabric
great.
Yes.
But it goes like this. She's like, I'm getting smarter. And now I'm really smart. And it went from smart, smarter, and then now I can see through time and space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was it was a hockey stick graph.
But then the numbers kept going up after
I
that.
know, and it was like too ludicrous. Like now I can see past time and space to the fabric of. It was
No sense of drama or anything.
No.
Up until the moment that she loses. Well, anyway, I don't want to get into this because it's not worth talking about.
But
Don't watch it.
I saw John Wick.
Oh my God. That was okay. Wow.
We
Triple
might have to
spoiler
do back
cast.
to spoilers. I haven't seen. I don't think I want that spoiled.
No, we don't have to. We shouldn't spoil it for you. You
Okay.
should watch it. We should talk about it next week.
I will
John
watch
Wick.
that.
Woo!
That's yes.
I want to watch it again.
Yeah, immediately
If you had it
after.
on your laptop, I'd watch it with you now.
Oh, wow.
It is amazing film.
It's on demand now, right?
Yeah, Amazon. I
so
bought it
good.
on Amazon.
Okay.
Sorry.
The Infinite Man,
The Infinite.
the Infant Man.
small Australian movie, 3 actors, time travel. It's heady. You have to follow all the. It's one of those where if you try to graph the timelines and graph the people, it would be a web of doodles, but it makes sense. Unlike Primer, which I also love.
Did you see?
Primer.
Did you see the thing? This is a complete tangent, but did you see the picture of Joe Rowling's her structure for? I think it was the 4th Harry Potter book, but the way that she structured the plot so that there were no holes in where people were and what they were doing. Like each,
right. You were telling me
I think I told you about it off when we were just talking.
In real life.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We do talk outside of the podcast.
We had
although
a,
it may
we had a
not
wet
seem like
space
that.
conversation. Meat space.
Space. Wet space is completely different. Those are for special times. Basically the upshot is that she had each individual group of people or main character, and then she showed what they were doing at any given time, which if you think about the climaxes of some of those books, there are sometimes 10 or 12 groups of people.
Right,
and she just literally had a piece of notebook paper where she had boxes across the top that had the groups of people, and then time was going down the left side, and what they were doing was filling in the blocks along the way. It was amazing.
And that's actually the same thing that Kubrick did with the file cabinet about Napoleon.
Oh, right.
He had a local college of history students work up a cross-reference card catalog of every day of Napoleon's life.
And what happened?
What happened, who he met, what he did, where he was.
It's amazing.
Holy cow.
I know.
Wow.
That would be a Kickstarter, wouldn't it?
To recreate that?
Yeah.
You haven't seen Primer?
I haven't seen Primer.
haven't
We
seen
got to
Primer
write
either.
this down. I got to see
Oh, my
Primer and I got to
goodness.
see Infinite Man.
The
I might
Infinite
watch
Man.
Infinite Man with my kids tonight.
Yes.
They would totally. We all loved John Wick. But back
Okay.
to Birdman.
Birdman.
The subject of
Okay,
this conversation.
this is where the spoilers begin.
Spoilers begin.
Please ruin this movie for me.
So
There's really only one thing you can say that I think comes as a surprise that it was ruined for me before the movie. I watched the movie, but it
was
didn't ruin
that?
the experience. The how he films the movie.
I
don't think-
already knew about that.
Me too.
Guillermo del
Yeah.
Toro had actually. There's my name drop. Blah, blah, blah. Guillermo
lost
del
it.
Toro had told me, "Holy crap, you got to see this movie. It's unbelievable what Inarritu actually was able to do." So the entire movie is the conceit is the movie is a single shot.
Wait, what?
The conceit is the movie is shot in a single shot.
Not one take, but
The whole
it
movie.
is structurally.
So there's no
filmed.
cuts?
There are lots of wipes going through dark doorways, and time definitely passes.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But the whole movie is effectively in a single shot.
But just
Wow.
like where Boyhood, the novelty of the movie and is not what makes the movie good. That's not what makes Birdman good
Well,
either.
it's like the 4th episode of True Detective, right? Like that 12-minute or 22-minute sequence or whatever it was at the end of that wasn't what made it good. It was just a
and Inarritu is doing something that I think that Cuarón also did in Gravity. And Cuarón's feeling was the long shots just make you stop feeling like you're watching a movie and sort of put you more viscerally into the action. And on that front, I totally agree.
it creates a lot of tension, and at least for me,
it does.
without even me noticing the first time most of the time.
And it's funny that you say that because I found that process was exhausting at different points
It
in
is.
the movie.
And for other, when it's a long take in an action movie or something like a Children of Men, a long take, they have to effectively script and fill that space.
Every single-
and so there's a lot of tension by design because there can't be lulls. Birdman is about theater. And so I think the reason to do that isn't necessarily tension, but also to create a theatrical feel to it.
Theatrical feel, yeah. And to be clear, when we talk about Children of Men, which was directed by Alfonso Cuarón, the director of photography of Children of Men is the director of photography of Birdman. I can't call up his name in my head right now, but he's a bloody genius. And if you ever get a chance to see some of the behind-the-scenes footage of how they shot the 17-minute shot in Children of Men, it's a masterpiece of analog, digital, stunt, every kind of film craft there is comes into achieving that. And I'm sure that when I get the Cinefex about Birdman, there's going to be a lot of incredibly innovative rigs and sets and composition and coordination with the actors to be able to pull off this.
I mean, I have to imagine just the storyboarding and previs stuff for this is unbelievable.
Well,
right?
they rehearsed, apparently they rehearsed for weeks. And the actors... It's clear from the press junkets that actors love working with Inarritu.
Emmanuel Lubezki.
Yes.
There's one thing that, technically, I would say if you haven't seen it yet, when you watch it, don't try to get distracted by the technical aspects. It's very easy to want to try to pick out, there's a cut, there's a cut.
Yeah, I can't
do
not
that.
do that.
I know.
I was doing it every single time.
Had I not known going in, I probably would have gotten halfway through the movie before I was like, wait, something's weird here.
But let's also talk about the key thing to me is I was saying actors love working with Inarritu. They all talk about what a wonderful actor's director is. And there's lots of rehearsing and there's lots of workshopping and really refining the directing process. And it's totally clear because everyone in Birdman is phenomenal. Zach Galifianakis is like a revelation. He's not playing the standard Zach Galifianakis character, and there's a ton of subtlety and real intensity to his work. I watched the whole movie not realizing that I was seeing Emma Stone.
Really?
And yeah, because she's blonde and she's really, really dark and negative in this film, and she doesn't usually play that. She usually plays a little more goofy.
Cheery, yeah. They make her look drugged out, which is the character.
I was so there's a monologue of hers where she yells at her dad. That long monologue, camera holds on her face, and she's got eyes like the size of pie plates, right? This giant alien.
Her eye to head ratio is enormous.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
It's like 1 to 2. And I'm watching her go, and I actually had this thought. How do I not know who this actress is? Who is this actress that I have not heard of that is this good, that is holding this frame just in a chokehold of great acting. And then she has all these scenes with Ed Norton, who's one of my favorite actors alive. Everything between them is just completely electric. Am I right?
Yes.
It's
yes.
totally
yes.
electric on screen.
I think we need to take. Well, I assume that everybody's here has watched the movie, but me probably. Okay. I mean, out there too. Okay. But what's Birdman?
So the basic plot is that Michael Keaton plays basically a version of himself, where it is.
He was famous years ago.
Famous of the actor Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Okay.
A version of himself, Reagan Thompson, and he was in a series of very successful superhero films. He stopped doing them, just like Michael Keaton didn't do Batman 3 in real life and turned down a lot of money. This actor didn't. And then it acknowledges that superhero films are very popular now. Robert Downey Jr. has made millions, and he's trying to revitalize his career by going to theater. And he directs and stars and wrote a theatrical production of Raymond Carver's What We Talk About When We Talk About Love.
Okay.
And so it is about the previews for that Broadway show on Broadway and leading up to the opening night.
And Zach Galifianakis plays his agent. Ed Norton and Naomi Watts are two of the actors. The third actress, her name escapes me.
Andrea Gainsborough, who is in Oblivion. She's awesome.
Incredible.
She was wonderful in Oblivion.
Yeah, I loved her in Oblivion. And shows a range in this film that takes Oblivion and kicks it down the stairs and takes its lunch money. And I really enjoyed Oblivion as a piece of bubble
Oblivion was a popcorn, yeah.
But she's incredibly beautiful, incredible actress. Like I said, a real range. The performances in the movie are among the best I saw this whole year.
And Michael Keaton, he does not. While he, plays, he has to play to the Michael Keaton-ness of himself. There is no.
Hold on. Do you mean like a crazy Michael Keaton or
on
like
the borderline?
I'm not sure.
But he doesn't go full crazy Beetlejuice Michael Keaton.
I will submit to you that we think that there might be a Michael Keaton-ness, but I don't think there is. I think Michael Keaton has repeatedly done a kind of an amazing thing. He turned down a lot of money to keep playing the glib young man that he was playing in movies like Night Shift and other stuff like that. And then he turned down a lot of money to keep playing superhero Batman and made movies that were really like introspective, quiet movies like My Life with Nicole Kidman and Clean and Sober, both terrific movies.
Didn't he also make after Batman? Wasn't that Pacific Heights? Wasn't that after Batman? Or was that
Heights
before?
As a villain.
Yeah, I mean that was amazing. It's a wonderful film.
Keaton is. I think Keaton, and I really appreciate that he's getting a lot of love for this movie because it turns out that what a lot of people didn't realize is Michael Keaton's always been a world-class actor, and you really get to see it here.
So the movie's also a commentary on Broadway, theater culture, egos in Broadway versus egos in Hollywood, and has a lot of common themes that you see of actors trying to bring back their careers. Performances. It's all about performances.
So did you feel like you were able to get past the technical aspects to enjoy the movie in and of itself?
Yeah. And you said something when we were talking about this earlier, how you thought the movie lacked a good character arc for him.
I did, but I felt that was emblematic of Inarritu's scripts in general, that I find that they lack an overall narrative arc that I desire. Clearly he has a point to make, and he has a trajectory that he is interested in. It happens to leave me feeling unsatisfied at the end of his movie.
I agree that the end, the last half hour, his character makes a leap in a way that I didn't feel comfortable with.
Well, so and how do I say this? The Aristotelian rules of drama require some sort of transformation. And what I love about great screenwriters like William Goldman and Bo Goldman and Shane Black is that they take their characters and paint them into a corner to a degree that you're like, how the hell are they going to redeem themselves at the end of all this? And then you get to watch as that happens. And that, the darker it gets, the more thrilling it's going to be. And this movie lacks that. His character's being painted into a corner the whole time, but the way he quote unquote gets out doesn't feel like any kind of rapprochement with life to me.
So there is climax but no catharsis.
That's what I felt like.
I agree that
Which
the climax
is very real to life. Look,
And-
so again, I think I don't think that I'm saying anything that Inarritu doesn't actually know. I think he has a very specific way he wants to make a movie. It just happens to leave me, who likes my Aristotelian dramatic arc, feeling a little bit left by the wayside.
His interaction, I think the climax of the movie is his interaction with the New York Times theater critic in the bar. And I think that's probably his best scene.
I agree. And she's phenomenal.
Yeah, so there's a critic in the movie who has a vendetta against this production. And
who plays her?
I don't know.
I felt like it was Sally Kellerman, but I don't think it was.
But she does a speech, also a monologue, about her perception of this production of him that I think is incredible, and then their blow up at that moment is the big climax, and then everything after that, which is the leap I'm talking about, his character leap is the thing I'm
and look, there's some amazing stuff. His scenes flying through New York are beautiful and really intense. The shots of New York.
They do like fly through scenes in a movie that has no cuts.
There are some really cool. Well, yes, and the camera moves in a way that's really interesting. In that they use jibs and pan ups and show the sun moving up and down.
There's a way in which it feels very dreamlike.
I'm like Vanilla Sky dreamlike.
Not quite, not very far off of that. Where like the standard rules don't apply, and he's so good with the technical aspect that you totally go along for it.
So. I'm interested for people out there who've watched the movie, how many of them got this, and if they got it during the film, they didn't know going in, like where it became obvious.
I'd be interested if anyone didn't know before and then went in and found that, because I knew about it a long time ago, and then once I knew about it, it was happening all over the place.
We should ask Joey. He went in without knowing.
Okay,
and
but post in the comments if you went in cold.
Yes,
and
where in the
I think you would.
Either.
I mean, in that famous shot in Children of Men, I didn't realize it until. So this is the scene in which they're driving in the car. The camera's panning around the car as Clive Owen and Julianne Moore are like popping a ping pong ball back and forth. And then there's these raiders with fire logs and a forest run and a chase and a shootout with cops and everything. And it's like 16 minutes, right? Maybe it's 9 minutes, whatever. It's many minutes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until probably the last 20% that I realized, holy crap, this is all one shot.
Yeah.
And it was almost an afterthought. It's like, that's just my film brain kicking in and being like, I don't think I've seen a cut in a long time.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, that's the kind of thing that subconsciously really, like I said, it makes me very tense.
Oh, yeah. And
we talked about True Detective. We name dropped that. Hannah has one, the movie Hannah.
Which
that
I just watched again. Have we talked about that? I just watched it like a week ago. And Hannah is totally, like, I loved it when it came out. I genuinely loved it. Watching it again, I loved it even more. And I think that actually Hannah is it's almost like an art movie disguised as an action movie.
Which I think
Birdman
also.
Yeah, I watched it, but it was probably 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
I watched it when it first came out on Netflix.
It's really, really
I also think that movie does not stick the ending. At the end when she's the playground.
We didn't promise Hannah spoilers. We should watch that on a maybe add that to a commentary.
I didn't find myself unsatisfied at the end. I want to see a sequel.
Yeah,
I think there's.
This is about the little girl that's programmed to be like from birth to be a killer. Yeah.
Well, no, she's genetically optimized.
That's right.
To be
her father
soldier, and her father
raised her in the woods.
Bana,
yeah.
Oh, it's great.
She's basically.
But yes, this movie has a long take, an action-based long take, where Eric Bana's walking, gets off the plane and walks, and there's a fight scene.
Right, in the subway, it's a whole fight scene. Yes. Yeah, that stuff is great. The fight scenes.
I do remember that.
In those where you actually get to see this stuff, I love fight scenes in which they hold long shots. Because it's like, there's nothing I hate more than a video that has great dancing in it that doesn't show me long shots of the dancing. I want to watch people dance.
I mean, it's the same thing. It is the difference between good action movies and bad action movies. Why I didn't like Iron Man 3, but I thought the fight scenes in Lucy were pretty good because you could tell what was going on. I had a sense of space through the entire film of what was going on. It's something Luc Besson has always been kind of good at.
I mean, and I blather on about this all the time, and I've probably said it on this podcast before, but my favorite directors are the ones that don't ever abandon you in physical space.
Yeah.
Now, Michael Bay was not one of those.
No.
But Steven Spielberg might be one of the best ones ever.
Yeah, and if you look at the Michael Bay films that I love, like The Rock.
I love The Rock.
He doesn't cheat space.
No, he doesn't. You're totally right.
Compared to, say, Transformers 2, where you go into the Air and Space Museum and come out in Arizona. Yeah. Literally. That is a thing that happens.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
What else about Birdman? Any final words, final thoughts?
I love the fact that these old friends and colleagues, Inarritu, Cuarón, and Guillermo del Toro, are inventing at this late in the film, in within the genre of filmmaking, are inventing brand new ways using some of the latest technology and also some of the oldest to achieve whole new ways of looking at making a movie, and that's super exciting.
That's amazing.
Even when I don't love the ending of something like Birdman, I'm so glad that it got made. I'm so glad that it exists, and I can't wait to see what he does next.
And okay, so at some point we should talk about Hugo because we never talked about it when it was out.
I've never seen Hugo.
You know the premise, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he moves through the entire history of film,
Right.
and shows each new technique, both the creation of it in the filmmaking, in the inside the story, but then also starts using it.
Right.
Like people have been trying to add, for example, 3D to film for the last 8 or 10 years at this point.
Stop it. Okay,
we don't want it.
We're going to take. It's not going to happen.
I mean, people pay extra money to go see the theater in the 3D theater, but that's probably just because it's the better projection.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a technique that serves a performance.
But that's what I'm saying. This is a technique that serves a performance, and that's an amazing thing.
Well, and I'd say that about Avatar, right? Avatar might be one of the Avatar and Gravity are the only two movies I can think of where the 3D augmented the film.
Right. Whereas I watched Guardians of the Galaxy on the plane on the way back last night again.
Doesn't matter whether it's 3D.
Well, no, it's actively detracts because then I watch it on my iPad and you see the bits where the shit comes out of you at the screen. I just think, well, this is fucking stupid.
Oh, right. It's like those old horror movies where the knife goes all the way to the camera.
Right. Or the Tingler where the electronic shocks 3 people in the audience to make them scream. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The one technical thing I really wanted to give a shout out for in Birdman, and this is something that you should notice, is when they employ mirrors. When you put a camera between
that
two
blew my
actors,
mind.
and it's basically...
I'm sorry, wait. What?
So
There's tons of time when actors are looking into mirrors and the camera's standing right behind them.
right. Or
over their
moving
shoulder?
Behind them, yeah.
or between two actors
Wow.
in a mirror because they're in a dressing room and you see them. And the way they do this, when you think about it, it's not that simple. It's like there is no mirror there. There's actually just another camera, and they green screen it. And they actually, it's a synchronized performance. Those are two separate performances in the mirror.
That they're just repeating,
And they're repeating
identically?
And your brain knows that it's not perfect because it can never be 100% perfect. But
I will tell you
the
that
choreographed
when
movement
I saw that happening and I realized we were having a vampire film moment in which you couldn't see the camera in the mirror.
Right.
I immediately start looking for the artifacts of the sloppy mats or any kind of composites that's going on, and I didn't spot a single one. It was airtight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. So
Birdman, totally worth seeing.
here's the list of movies that we should all watch between now and whenever we want to talk about them. Let's see. We have Birdman. That's for me. Infinite Man. Is that it?
Yeah.
The Infinite Man.
The Infinite Man. John Wick. What was the other one? Hannah. We added to the list.
Yeah.
Hugo.
Hannah. Did you watch Hugo, Norm?
I've seen it many times. I like it. I love it.
I thought it was a really lovely film.
Primer for you, Adam.
I haven't seen Primer either.
We're
Primer's
going
on
to write this
Netflix?
down. We got to write this down.
I'll send you an Evernote.
Okay.
And that'll do it for us this week. If you like us on iTunes, review us on iTunes, like us on YouTube, leave comments. I want to know when you realized that it was all one shot, if you did it all. And if you did not realize it, that's interesting data too.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next week with either another podcast or another spoiler cast.
Bye,
Do you
guys.
think this needs to be a spoiler cast? This might be a spoiler cast
I
light.
think it's a spoiler cast.
Okay.
Light. But still, anyone who hasn't seen Birdman would be pissed from some of the stuff
I'm so pissed. So pissed. Bye, guys.
Bye.
It seems like it's been just 20 minutes since we talked about Squarespace.
That's right. They are once again the sponsor for this week's podcast. Thank you, Squarespace, for supporting our podcast, and thank you guys for listening. Have you decided what your website's gonna look like yet?
We just talked about Birdman. I haven't had a chance to do my website, but I think I'm going to make it red.
You should make a website about the best long takes.
The longest takes of all the long takes and just show them all on the website. I should try that. I'm looking forward to using 24/7 live chat and email support. I like a low price. What if I want some stock images, Norm?
They have a partnership with Getty Images, so you can license them royalty-free for a very small price.
So if I want to have, say, a picture of a woman getting something that should never be in a refrigerator, like crackers out of a refrigerator, eating them late at night, I can get that?
Probably. Although I think the Getty Images photos are much better than the quality of that.
Okay, so what if I want a picture of a man walking across the street while using an old school Zach Morris kind of cell phone?
Absolutely.
And
I think there's a rule on the internet. If you can think of it, if it exists, then Getty Images has a photo of it.
what if I want a man eating pizza in his underwear on top of the Statue of Liberty? I might have to pay for that one.
May have to pay for that one.
Okay, but in the meantime, Squarespace 7 is a really easy way to build your own custom website. They have online shop integrations. You can sell stuff to people. You can take credit cards and all that stuff. You don't have to know how to make an account with a credit card processing company. They have 24/7 live chat and email support. And the sites work on mobile and desktop and all the places. The site just shrinks down to fit onto your phone without you having to know anything about web design. It sounds like a good place for me to start with my website.
You know my favorite thing about Squarespace?
What's your favorite thing about Squarespace?
They support podcasts like this one.
That is my favorite thing about Squarespace as well. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.